Life will teach you things about faith that sermons never will. What happens to your faith when life stops making sense? Faith sounds beautiful in theory. It sounds strong in quiet rooms and church seats. But life doesn't test faith in comfort. It tests it in confusion. When prayers go unanswered, when plans collapse, when the version of your life you imagined quietly disappears, that's where faith stops being a word and starts becoming a decision. Most of us grew up believing faith worked like a formula. If I pray, if I obey, if I stay faithful, then God will fix everything. Life is the first thing that breaks that illusion. I once spoke with someone who did everything right. They prayed consistently, they avoided shortcuts, they stayed patient when others gave up. They were believing God for three things: a business that would finally stand, a marriage that wouldn't keep cracking, and a breakthrough that felt long overdue. Years passed, nothing changed on the outside. The business stayed stuck, the marriage stayed fragile, the breakthrough never came. And that's where faith is truly tested. Not when prayers are answered, but when silence stretches longer than you expected. At first, they thought faith meant holding on tighter, praying harder, explaining themselves to God. But slowly, something unexpected happened. Their prayers changed. They stopped saying, "God, when will you fix this?" and started saying, "God, stay with me while this remains unfixed." That's when life taught them the lesson most people avoid. Faith isn't proven by outcomes. It's revealed by who you trust when outcomes refuse to change. They became more patient, not because waiting was easy, but because impatience stopped helping. They became more humble because they realized control was an illusion. And they became more dependent on God, not for results, but for daily strength. That kind of faith doesn't make headlines. It doesn't feel powerful, but it's real. Though he slay me, yet will I trust him. Job 13:15. Job didn't say this when his prayers were answered. He said it when everything was falling apart. Life teaches you that faith isn't about trusting God after he moves. It's about trusting him before he does, and even if he doesn't move the way you expected. That's the kind of faith life teaches. Quiet, strict down, and unshakable. Disappointment feels like failure. It feels like you did something wrong, like you misheard God, like you believed too much or trusted too soon. But life teaches you something uncomfortable and holy. Disappointment is often refinement, not rejection. You don't grow faith when doors open easily. You don't grow faith when timelines make sense. You don't grow faith when prayers are answered on schedule. Faith grows when things fall apart and you're faced with a choice. Do I leave God because this hurts, or do I stay even when I don't understand him? That's where faith stops being emotional and starts becoming spiritual. Life teaches you that disappointment isn't God's absence, it's God removing illusions. The illusion that faith guarantees ease, the illusion that obedience protects you from pain, the illusion that following God means life will make sense. Scripture never promised comfort, it promised refining. For you, God, tested us. You refined us like silver. Psalm 66:10. Silver isn't refined in comfort, it's refined in fire. And so is faith. Some disappointments aren't meant to break you, they're meant to burn away what couldn't survive where God is taking you. Faith grows when illusions die. Here's the twist no one prepares you for. Faith is not confidence. Confidence says, I know how this ends. Faith says, I don't, and I'll trust you anyway. Faith isn't feeling sure. It's choosing to stay when you feel unsure. It's waking up without clarity, without signs, without reassurance, and still whispering, "God, I trust you." Not because you understand, but because life has taught you that understanding is not a requirement for obedience. That's why Scripture says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding." Leaning on understanding feels safe, but faith is built when that support is removed. Life humbles faith before it strengthens it, because faith that survives confusion becomes faith that cannot be shaken.
One of the hardest lessons life teaches you about faith is learning how to live when God is quiet. Not angry, not distant, just silent. There are seasons where you pray the same prayer with the same faith and nothing seems to change. No sign, no confirmation, no clear direction. Your words rise and come back unanswered, and that silence can feel personal, like you did something wrong, like God stepped away. But life slowly teaches you this truth: God's silence is not His absence. Be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46:10. Notice what the verse doesn't say. It doesn't say understand. It says be still. Because stillness isn't about information, it's about surrender. Silence removes control, and control is what we cling to when we're afraid. We want constant reassurance, clear timelines, immediate answers. But faith doesn't mature through explanations, it matures through trust. Life teaches you that silence is where faith is stretched, where motives are exposed, where you learn whether you trust God for who He is or only for what He does. Think about it. If God spoke every time you panicked, you'd never learn to listen. If He answered immediately, you'd never learn to wait. If He explained everything, you'd never learn to walk by faith. We walk by faith, not by sight. 2 Corinthians 5:7. Silence trains you to rely on God's character instead of His constant communication. And that's uncomfortable, because silence forces you to face your fears, your impatience, your need to be in control. But over time, something changes. You stop chasing signs. You stop demanding proof. You start resting in who God has already proven Himself to be. That's when faith becomes deeper, quieter, stronger. Life teaches you that God is often doing His deepest work in the seasons when He says the least. And if you stay, if you don't walk away in the quiet, you come out with a faith that doesn't collapse when answers are delayed. That's not weak faith, that's mature faith.
At some point, life will remove the safety nets. The prayers that once carried you no longer come from your parents' mouths. The sermons that once fueled you aren't always there when the night gets long. The community that once surrounded you can't follow you into certain seasons. And that's when something uncomfortable happens. You realize you've been surviving on borrowed faith. Faith that sounded strong because someone else was strong. Faith that held up because life hadn't pressed hard enough yet. But life presses eventually. And when it does, God doesn't ask you what your pastor believes. He doesn't ask what your family taught you. He asks what you trust. The just shall live by faith. Romans 1:17. Live by faith, not visited, not quoted, not lean on someone else's. Life forces you into moments where belief becomes lonely, where faith is no longer public, it's private, quiet, unseen. That's when faith stops being inherited and starts being chosen. Not because it's easy, but because walking away would cost you more. One of the hardest truths life teaches about faith is this: faith is not a contract, it's not leverage, and it's not a guarantee of outcomes. You don't trust God because everything turns out right. You trust Him because you've learned that even when things turn out wrong, He's still God. Life strips faith down to its foundation. When the healing doesn't come, when the prayer stays unanswered, when the door you believed in stays closed, and you're left with a choice. Do you still trust God when faith doesn't produce the result you hoped for? Though He slay me, yet will I trust Him. Job 13:15. That verse isn't poetic, it's raw. It's the voice of someone who learned that faith isn't about control, it's about surrender. Life teaches you that faith doesn't grow by getting what you want. It grows by staying when walking away would make sense. Faith isn't rewarded by comfort, it's strengthened by endurance. Let perseverance finish its work, so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. James 1:4. And sometimes the greatest evidence of faith is not a miracle, it's the fact that you're still here, still praying, still hoping, still trusting, even with questions in your hands. That's not weak faith, that's real faith. If this message feels heavy, that's okay. Faith isn't light because life isn't light. Faith is forged in the places where answers don't come quickly, and strength doesn't feel available. Even Scripture doesn't hide that truth. Lord, I believe. Help my unbelief. Mark 9:24. That wasn't spoken by a weak believer. That was spoken by an honest one. So, if your faith feels tired, if doubt is louder than belief, if you're still showing up but barely holding on, you're not failing. You're learning what real faith looks like. But there's another conversation you need to hear next, not about pretending to be strong, but about what to do when faith feels fragile and God feels quiet. Stay here with us on this channel. The next video isn't comfortable, but it's honest. And sometimes honesty is what saves faith when motivation no longer can. Don't rush away from this moment. The next video on your screen might be exactly what your faith needs right now.